Thank you for joining us for another episode of the resilience of Black women confronting breast cancer. In this episode, we honor voices that are too often go unheard. These are the untold stories, raw, unfiltered, and rooted in truth. Stories held in silence far too long until now. Each woman you'll hear today has carried a weight the world may never fully understand, but through pain, they found power. Through isolation, they found community, and through their journeys, they're offering healing to someone else. This isn't just a podcast episode, it's a sacred space, a time of release, a time of sisterhood. So lean in and listen closely. These are the video voices of women who are still standing, still healing, and still here. Now we can start. And Tamika, how have you been?
I've been pretty good, just navigating new diagnoses after breast cancer and just advocating for myself as usual. Yeah, that's just because breast cancer is gone doesn't mean advocation for your health is gone. So that is my mission to advocate for my health other than just breast cancer, that advocate for across the board.
Okay, would you like to introduce Maria to us?
Yes.
Because we don't know
So
Maria.
Yes. Tonight we have a special guest, which is Miss Maria, and she's going to be talking to us about everything that I guess you would say doctors and plastic surgeons normally talk to patients that has had reconstructive surgery on different things of healing after your reconstructive surgery pertaining to areola tattooing, um, nipple sparing, um, aerial prosthesis, tattoo of brows, all things that are part of your healing after breast cancer. So before we start with Maria, I actually had Miss Stephanie from Ogle, who I partner with every year for the pop up. She gave me some homework, and she said before I introduce Maria to actually state the statistics that are out there on reconstruction, mastectomies, nipple sparing, areola tattooing, and areola prosthesis.
Did
So
she do your tattoos?
no, she did not, but her teacher did. Her
Oh, okay.
teacher did my tattoos. Yes, Miss Shearer. So um it's about 34 to 39% of early stage breast cancer survivors that gets that gets a mastectomy. It's also 72% to 87% that gets it in late stage. A part of that for reconstruction after a mastectomy, it's around 40%. For nipple sparing, it's around 4.1%. For areola tattooing, it's for 21%. And for areola prosthesis, it's 35% to 39% of survivors. And that means men and women that are affected by breast cancer and doing their mastectomies, reconstruction, and anything pertaining to nipple sparing, nipple tattoos, and nipple prosthesis. So, without further ado, we're going to have Miss Maria talk to us today about her services in the paramedical community for breast cancer survivors.
All right, Maria, take the floor.
First of all, I want to say, Miss Tamika, thank you so much for answering my call, for literally reaching back out to me because you know um, some of my story. And I'm so honored to be here, ladies. I have never been diagnosed with breast cancer, but I have been the caretaker of my mom who survived breast cancer, who was at the time African Latina, and I'm going back close to 13 years ago. And when my mama was diagnosed, you know, I was living upstate New York. And with that said, there really weren't people of color in that room. She was really the only woman of color there. And when they took care of my mom and they did the biopsy and she went for seven, I remember it was 7 sessions of radiation, and it was really intense radiation because she had a very aggressive cancer. They were able to remove it, but there was no information given to us. Like, there was no information given to me. There was no really very little information. Plus, the my mom spoke Spanish, so it was really hard for us to really navigate. And at the time, it's not like today where we have ChatGPT, where you can ask your questions and then you can just, get your answers. You either just dealt with it and thought this is the what you were dealt, and you just deal with it. And I remember those days. I remember, and I told Miss Tamika earlier, I don't know what it is to be diagnosed with breast cancer, but it's something that is a shadow always. Every year when I go for my mammogram, when I met Miss Tamika for the first time, I learned about, just because I have been tested, my genes, that doesn't mean anything because of the history. So cancer is so dear to me because my mom survived it, but then years later on, she got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and survived 4 years of that. But still, going back to remembering when I was there with her when she got diagnosed. I was there with her for the whole treatment. I was there when all the different stages of healing that she went through, and it was always something that always pulled and tugged at my heart. So when I came into this world of PMU, I loved the idea of tattooing and creating the illusion of what no longer is there. But when I was introduced to this paramedical side of PMU is when I want to say my soul lit up, because now I can be a voice, I guess is the best way to describe it. And my first mentor and teacher was Miss Shira as well. And Hi, looks like someone just joined us.
Hey,
Hi.
fine.
So
I forgot.
so when I actually had a dream, and that's how my vision started. I had a dream that I was actually creating areolas, and immediately I wrote to Miss Shira and I was like, when's the next class? I'm coming. And I made it happen. And so I've been working on scars and 3D areola, which is a form of tattooing. An areola that looks like it's third dimensional just by the way that we do it. And it's such a beautiful technique because you're giving something back. And every time I create one, that's how I feel. I feel like I'm remembering my mom. I'm remembering what she went through. And I remember what it was to care for her. And now that I no longer have her here, this is my way of paying back. So so that's basically how I started in this field of paramedical tattooing. And then now every year they come up with something new, right? Now we're doing prostheses. I do prostheses of areolas. And this is an actual, it's made, I don't know if you guys can see that this is the difference. And the beautiful thing about this now is that we don't have to wait for a survivor to go through her stages and then her buildup. She can actually have and wear one of these prostheses throughout the entire um, journey of healing. So I custom make these. So this is something new, and again, I'm pushing the envelope because I have that tug at my heart, remembering once again, you know um that when my mom was going through her battle, there was so almost nothing being shared with us, literally, like, we had to actually ask another survivor in the room, what was she doing when her skin burned off. My mom went into the shower and that skin just went. I didn't know what to do. We didn't know what to do. So little things like that, you forget. Doing my research now is just bringing all that back up, which made me come to realize, like, I had to do my history. And I was telling Miss Tamika that when I started doing my history, I'm like dumbfounded that my doctors aren't fighting for me to wake me up, to push me to do all the tests and to be more on top of this stuff, even for my children, you know. Um it 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 just really boggles my mind, and I just want to say, ladies, thank you so much for this platform that you guys have created here, and just being able to give this information to those that listen in is just so powerful. So I am so excited about this journey that I'm being taken on,
You're
so
welcome
that's
to
what.
join us
Yeah,
all
thank
the
you, thank
time.
you, thank you,
You're
I really
welcome to be
appreciate
here
it.
all the time. We have Tisha there. She's a survivor too.
Hi, Miss Tisha, how are you?
I'm good. How
Tisha,
are
she
you?
does those prosthetic nipples.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is this is actual tattoo ink. So when we create a 3D areola, I want you to just envision that. I mean, obviously there's always a scar, right? But this is how they appear. So I have these, I have hundreds of, but I create sisters. So this is another prosthesis, because that's what it is, right?
Mhm.
That I offer to my clients that are going through the stages. So what I do is that I actually can take a picture. If before you go in for your surgery, I go in and I take a picture, and we have our consultation, and I'll ask, are you happy with the size of your areola? If she says yes, then that's a bonus. I take pictures, I take lots of pictures, and then I try to mimic the color as best as I can. That's where these come in, the 4D prostheses that we make now, because you can actually see it's a
Yeah.
4D. It's and it feels real. It adheres with just the warmth of your skin. They're very delicate, but it adheres with the warmth of your skin, and they don't go. And right now I didn't even put anything on, and then it doesn't really move much,
That's
I just made this one, literally just came off the mold as we were talking before the podcast started. Um but it's just another option. There are some women that don't want to have the tattoo, so this is another option where if they wanted to just get a feel for what this feels like, again, this is the 3D version where from a distance it looks like it's three-dimensional. And now these are the new prostheses that we're coming out with, and I custom make them to color, to size. We have molds, so I have molds. So if, let's say, if you came to me and you've already had your buildup, right? Then this might be the better one for you, because a lot of times they'll build up the areola and the nipple for you. So usually when it's built up already like this, then it's easier for us to kind of know, okay, well, this obviously is your nipple. We'll just tattoo around it, and then we kind of give this kind of effect. But for those that aren't or haven't been able to get the buildup, sometimes the body rejects. No one talks about that. No one talks about the process. It's a process. Your body could be rejecting it for many different reasons. So these are just other options that when you're giving the illusion of what you no longer have, just to get you through that day. At the end of the day, when I took my class with Miss Shira, I will always remember this, where she said, these things that we carry almost killed this survivor. So it's that love and hate kind of pull and tug, right? Where you have, as a little girl, you grew up and you're always faking them and stuffing them, and they become that womanhood. And then now they tell you that womanhood is going to take your life. So it's just about just being able to just make the diagnosis and the different stages of having to fight a little easier, I guess.
mm-hmm.
Where if you're wearing a certain outfit, you don't have to feel that you can see the scar. You don't see, you can see that I'm not, and it's those tiny little things. So when I tell you the dream came to me, I was like, I've got to go with this. I know that this is pulling me. I love to do brows, don't get me wrong, but this holds a special place in my heart. It really, really does.
So
And
you
I'm
take
hoping that,
pictures.
I can give something back.
You take
Yeah.
pictures of the breast before they have the surgery.
Yes. So
Okay.
if I have a client comes to me and she's been diagnosed, and it's sad to say, a lot of doctors don't even know about the 3D areolas. They don't even know about this to even be able to guide you. Or they have one person, and that person's so overworked and so overbooked that they don't take the chance to give out another artist's information or work and collaborate, right? So if they called me in, it's word of mouth with me. I kid you not, because Miss Tamika knows I've been kicking doors and knocking on doors, and no one's opening. But it's okay. God has a different path for me. But it's word of mouth. So when I have someone that comes to me and says, Marie, I've been diagnosed, and I have decided that I'm going to remove both my breasts, or I'm just going to start out with the one, or I already started the procedure and she already has, a bilateral done. And I go, okay, well, we can work with what we got. So I take a mold. I literally take a mold. I make a mold, a prosthesis mold. I mold her. We discuss what she's looking for. If she doesn't even like her areola, because a lot of times the women are older and they've breastfed. So they're like, I want to go a little smaller, or, I want to custom make them. Then I have molds that I can show and say, okay, well, I'm naming them after my girls. So one is Jennifer, the other one's Madison. Which one do you actually like? And then if she chooses one, because they're all different, that she likes, then I can now custom color make one for her. Same thing with the 3D areola. We can custom make colors. So my clients are a part of from beginning to end, colors, color selection, size, you know. It's really important, and I've noticed this, especially with my survivors and my warriors, because that's what you ladies are. You ladies are just angels and warriors, is that they love the fact that they can now make a decision for themselves, not a doctor, not society, right? So these are it's just an option that if you wanted to, like you asked me earlier, Miss Tamika, can you wear this during sex? Well, I'm sure you can put these little suckers on underneath the little bra, and you got a cute little bra going on that's
Yeah.
see-through now. Ain't no one gonna be able to tell you different. I mean, like, let's keep it real, right?
Yeah, that's
So,
great.
and they'll always look perky and pretty. So at the end of the day, you do have to get a little creative, but
Oh,
listen, why not?
yeah.
Yeah, so that's basically what I wanted to share with you ladies and those that will be listening in. Do your homework. There are artists like myself out here that want the opportunity, but because we believe that the doctors, and I understand that, they hold you guys so dear because you guys have gone through so much, and understandably so, but it doesn't allow artists like myself to be able to say, hey, I can help with A, B, C, and D, or let me give you some information on what's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm on here to say, that there are amazing artists out here that have had extensive, amazing training, that would love to be able to give back to the community. That we really would, we want to. I kid you not, when Miss Tamika answered, I was like, oh Lord, you finally answered my prayers, because I have been emailing. I kid you not, I last year, I can't even tell you, to the point of exhaustion. And then finally I left it on the altar and I said, okay, Lord, you know what? You'll know when it's time, and I'm just gonna keep doing me. And then Miss Tamika, like I said, she answered me, and I was like, yes. And I met her 2 years ago, I think it was.
Think it was at the paramedical. It was the permanent makeup tattooing conference. So they
Yes.
had it
And
here in
yes.
Houston, and for the
Yes.
rest of us, invited the survivors that was here in Houston to come out because they was on the panel. And Shira is kind of well known out here for the areola tattoos,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a lot of her students that are getting into it, which would be Miss Maria. We
Mm-hmm.
also have Ramisha
Mm-hmm.
that comes to my pop ups. We have Chrissy, who's also finna partner with me on. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
do a tattoo day here, where it's a part of healing. Some things, everybody not a tattoo person. Everybody's not, and but
Mhm.
it gives an option, like in with like what Miss
Yes.
Maria said, an option of, okay, do I don't want areolas? Do I want to have an illusion of an areola? Do I want a tattoo, or do I want something like this where I could take it on, take it off? I could be flat one day, I could be perky one day. I mean, you have your options, and that's
Yeah.
what I like about the permanent makeup paramedical community, because it gives you options. Even at that conference, I was able to get my eyebrows tattooed. I was in the contest,
Mhm.
and I've always had light eyebrows, and even when
Mhm.
my hair grew back, it still was light. So now I have permanent eyebrows. So
So
and
you have the tattoo eyebrow?
yes,
Yes.
tattoo eyebrow, and
Mhm.
the hair. I still let my hair grow over it to make it look more natural. But it everybody literally think that I've got my eyebrows done. I'm like, no, that's
Mhm.
literally a tattoo. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah.
And that's what's so beautiful about what we do. And that's what I'm saying. Where I literally am so blessed and so lucky to be able to create the illusion of what isn't there, because that's what we're doing. We're just creating an illusion of what is no longer there, or just enhancing what is already there. I have my brows tattooed also.
Mhm.
So, and I have very fine hair. So these are options that, yes, that we give. And one of the things that I know that was also discussed at the conference that Missouri had given, and that was, you know, really, and I'll speak even for my family. It's something that's not even talked about. Cancer is not even. It's like almost like no one wants to talk about it. It's like that hush, hush, quiet. And I was telling Miss Tamika that earlier when I actually called my sister today to let her know that that I was invited to this podcast. And I remember learning so much about breast cancer at that conference than I have ever learned being my mama's caretaker, and even being a woman of color and getting tested. They don't push. They don't. And if I'm telling you, cancer has wiped out my mother's side of the family, it's heartbreaking. And I'm talking all forms of cancer. So just because it's not only just breast cancer, just the fact that that gene is a gene that is being, we don't even talk about it. We just, and it's something that it should be talked about. You would think that today there would be more information out there. It's sad because the other day I saw something and it said, be aware all year long, not just only October.
Yes. Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Breast
That's
cancer
why
is
we
not just
advocate all
October.
year long,
Yeah,
not
prostate is
just
not just in
October,
September.
to
Ovarian is
bring
not just in
awareness to
September.
this. This
Yes,
is
all
not a
these
joke.
Mm-hmm.
other cancers are not just a month. This is a
Mm-hmm.
every day, every month, every hour, every minute. Someone is finding out that they have some form of cancer.
Over. You know what, Miss Tamika, because you told me about the homework assignment that was given to you, so I had to do the homework assignment too, and I was blown away. It stated that over 800 people a day are diagnosed. 800
Mm-hmm,
people a day.
mm-hmm.
That just,
That's a
again,
long
I
time.
was just flabbergasted. I was just blown away with that.
Mm-hmm,
But I'm like I said, I'm here to say that there's so many amazing options, and this is not just only for women, but this is for men as well.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
I do have men out there that have breast cancer, and they too, they lose their areola as well. No one really talks about that.
mm-hmm.
And it's one of these things that knowing that there's options out there allows you to move a little bit differently. You know,
So they
um,
just glue on, or they glue on and you take them back off or something?
so they don't even get glued on. Okay, so these are silicone. And
Oh, okay.
because they're silicone and they're so fine, these aren't as fine. These are like those pasties. I think they call them cakes. I don't know what they call these things. I think
Hmm.
cakes. And
Mm-hmm.
so what I've been doing is this is what I practice on. But when I have shown my clients, they're like, I love these because they can take it off, they can take it on. A lot of these ladies don't want to be tattooed. They don't even want to think of a needle coming anywhere near them. I have to respect that. So just to know that there's another option. I also have some women that love the idea that they can make changes. The fact that she can change it up, like you said, I feel sexy. Let's put someone on that's a little on the perkier side. I'm feeling a certain way. I can wear, something that when she's getting undressed, let's say in a dressing room or whatever it is, it doesn't look like there's nothing there. She's no longer hiding behind the scars.
Yeah.
And that's really it. You no longer have to hide behind that scar and feel anything but who you are. And that's this beautiful queen, that this happened to you, right? That's not who you are. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't tell you who you are. And I remember saying that to my mama. She was look in the mirror and she would say, wow, I don't even recognize myself. I go, I do. I see you in there, but I didn't understand it. And that's why, like I said earlier, I don't know what it is to be diagnosed, but I know what it is to be a caretaker and see someone who I loved with my life fight for her life, be there and hold her hand and just seeing her be brave for us, her kids watching her. And she did an amazing, amazing job doing it. But it's something that's just not talked about enough. So again, it's just another option. That's what these things are.
It's not talked about because we people of color are dismissed.
Yeah.
Because it's as though we don't know
Yeah.
what we're feeling, we don't know what we're talking about, so they dismiss us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why.
Or we're extra. That's what I was told one time. You're being a little too extra.
Yeah.
Excuse me. First of all, that's my mom. Two, her skin just literally just washed away in the shower just now, and you're telling me that I'm overreacting. I
That
don't
was
even know
from the
how do I take.
radiation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Mm,
from the
She got
radiation.
burnt.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they and it took someone else, and it was so sad. I remember in so many levels, it took another patient to pour into us to say, there's a compound that they can create for her discomfort. I'm talking after treatment, they would just send her home. There was no ointments. There was nothing was given. I didn't know what to ask for. At the time I thought the right thing to do is don't question. I don't want us to be
Because
the
you
troublemakers.
not just that, because you're thinking the doctors know what they're doing, the nurses know what they're doing. Why should I question it? They're trained. They're this.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm,
Mm-hmm.
mhm,
100.
mhm,
Same thing even with, like I said to you before, just putting these images out there for these doctors,
mhm,
and not one person. You're gonna tell me that I'm talking where I've done the footwork, I've dropped these off with my card,
mhm.
with my resume, with not one phone call.
Wow.
All of my clients that I have gotten through the grace of God have found me through word of mouth.
You never put your cards like in the hospital or something so
Yeah,
they could.
that you're not allowed to. You can't just leave cards there. First of all, you can't do
Oh,
that. You're
okay.
not allowed to solicit. That's what they basically call that, is soliciting. I have asked. I've shown up with donuts, cookies, name it. I've tried to get so like friendly,
Mhm,
and they're always like, "Oh yeah, I heard about that," and oh, I'm going to talk to the doctor, and nothing. I'm talking where I've created flyers to leave. Can you just leave these in the waiting room?
mhm.
How much room does this little flyer take up? Not much, I promise you. Nothing.
Right.
And my faith carries me through everything. I know that there's reasons for it all, and then maybe this is it, because now I learned, it pushed me to be a better me and to be so into my craft. And now I've learned this new technique of FX. This is FX makeup. That's how I create this. Like, look how real. This is so amazing. I just took this one off the mold. And so I
Oh,
can color this any variety of colors. And I'm talking, they're so realistic. I don't know if you guys can kind of.
yeah. Once they put it on,
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna look
So
like theirs.
yeah. So I mean, obviously, I just took this one off the mold, so I have to clean it up a little bit better. But if this was my client, I literally add
Yes, that's what I was going
Vaseline,
to ask you.
mm-hmm.
About
Little
the
bit of Vaseline, little bit of
silicone.
Vaseline.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I add just a little bit of Vaseline. And the only reason why I apply the Vaseline is that I'm always a firm believer of a barrier between you and something that's not part of who you are. That's just me. But it allows the prostheses to really adhere better. And then with the one, I mean, all of this would be removed, obviously. And then this is what's left behind. And I'm talking, you can pull and tug.
That's what
Like,
I was just about to ask you. Someone asked me, since we're talking
She
about
said,
intimate.
Tamika, were you trying to get busy then? You trying to get in?
No, somebody asked
she's
me.
looking to get a groove on. There's nothing wrong with
They
that.
right. I was telling somebody about this, and they was like,
Mm-hmm.
"So you intimate with your mate?
Mm-hmm.
It's sweat. Will it come off? Or they decide to touch it? Will it come off? Or
So,
they decide to
I mean,
suck it? Will it come off?" I'm like, "Oh, you doing too much." They
well,
don't
I'm
have
gonna say
to.
this to
I
you.
was like,
I
"That's
have never so
a lot."
now there are glues that are set that are sold out there
Hmm.
that I'm sure you can probably glue this onto
Hmm.
to have better, more of an adhesive.
Hmm.
I'm sure.
Hmm.
But like obviously this is not part of your
Supposed to
body.
be.
So can it come off? Yeah, if you're getting a bit rough, yeah, but does it feel real? Girl, this feels so real. This literally is, well, you're gonna see when I come to your pop-up.
Yes.
I'm gonna have a bunch of them with me. And you'll see how realistic it really, I mean, you can see all the crevices. I don't know if you can see the details of the wrinkles of this areola, the Montgomery glands. I mean, everything is on there.
Mm.
And that was a actual mold made
Maria,
of.
you're in Georgia too?
She's in
No, I'm
Georgia.
in I'm in Virginia right now.
Yes, but she's
But as
licensed
a
in
permanent
Georgia.
makeup, as a paramedical artist and tattoo artist,
Hmm.
I'm at the end of the month, with God's willing, be taking my state exam here. But I cannot do this procedure here yet because you need a different license here in Virginia. But I do have clients that I see in New York, in New Jersey, and in Atlanta, and then I'll be popping in as a guest this November in
Okay.
Texas. So I'm a traveling artist. I do a
Oh,
lot of
so your
traveling.
pop-up is in Texas, Tamika?
Yes. So this year, so what I normally have is called Paint Through Your Pain. This will be our third year where we come together with not breast cancer survivors. We come together with all cancer survivors and all cancer caregivers, and we create through our pain. So the first year we did rugs that you could put at the front door, and we used the stencil for the Wonder Woman sign with the
Oh
W,
wow.
and it was the ribbon. So you could paint it any color ribbon, no matter what cancer that you had, or if you was a caregiver, no matter what cancer it was. The second year we did pillowcases. So we had the painted on the pillowcases with the stencil, and then I had pillow inserts. And that one we actually had a lot of caregivers at that one. Even two of the survivors brought their granddaughters. So it was a really, really nice one. So this year, kept saying, I want to do an art therapy weekend. It kept popping in my head, art therapy, art therapy. And knowing that I've already had areola tattoos and I've had the cover up tattoos, I said, well, I'm not the only one that like ink therapy. So why not make that a part of the art therapy weekend? So this year we're doing Paint Through Your Pain, which is the third year. It's going to be November the 2nd. November the 1st, we're going to do Stories on My Skin, which is a day of tattooing. So we're going to have Maria come in to have consultations with some of the breast cancer survivors for the areola prosthesis. But we also have Ramisha, who's from Design Body Bar. She will be doing the areola tattoos. And then we have Chrissy widow that is from the foot. She's called the foot bully here, but she also does areola tattoos. But she's going to be doing tattoos like what I have here, which is probably
The fine
the
lines.
fine
Mm-hmm.
line tattoos,
Mm-hmm.
and that will be offered to the caregivers so that they can, in memory or in honor of whoever they cared for that had cancer. So it's open for cancer survivors and cancer caregivers. We're doing it by appointment only because it's, just with that day being, and it's being the first one, we want to see how it goes. But all three ladies, which is so ironic, all of them was taught by Shira,
Miss Shira.
who
Yeah.
was my areola tattoo artist. All of them was taught by her. And so
Mm-hmm.
that was
Oh man.
the ironic part that I didn't even know until Maria told me. And I was like, oh my God, all three of you was taught by her. And Miss
Mm-hmm.
Shira goes around the country and around the world
The world.
teaching
Mm-hmm.
areola tattoos to an abundance of women
Mm-hmm.
and me. I think it's some men
And
that
men.
takes the class as
And men.
well, and it's of
Mm-hmm.
all colors, all races, all ages that are giving back to the breast cancer community and just the cancer community as a whole. Because anyone that has had chemo, either you lose your hair,
Mm-hmm.
either you lose your brows, and in the case of breast cancer, you may or may not lose your breast. You may or may
Mm-hmm.
not lose your nipples. So they're giving back to the community by giving these options to cancer survivors that make healing better and makes it a little bit more easier to
Mm-hmm.
get past what you've been through.
But when you gonna do something in Georgia? You know, Tisha's from Georgia.
Yes, yes. So Tisha, so what we gonna do?
Oh no, we gotta come up with something.
What we gonna do?
Just
So
let me know when.
right.
Honestly, like I said, let me know when. And
Maria
to
too.
piggyback, yeah, and to piggyback what Miss Tamika also said here, you know, Miss Shira is an amazing artist and instructor, and I hold her dear to my heart because I do. Um, there are so many artists, I'm in those platforms, and they're begging, how do we get out there? I'm putting my name out there, no one's reaching out to me, no one is answering me. How do I give back? Because we are hungry to give back. We really, really are. And when I spoke with Miss Tamika, and she was like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I give you my word, girl. I've been doing this for 4 years. Paramedical, the paramedical part, 4 years. And if I tell you, I have dropped pictures, cards, gone in person, done the whole dress, name it, name the suggestion. And I'm not the only one. There's so many amazing, amazing artists out there that are not given the opportunity. And I know that given the opportunity, it will be just another one of those things in the healing process, I guess is the best way to put it. When you have options, it just makes it a little easier. When you know the options that are out there, the artists that are out there in Georgia, I would blow your mind if I tell you how many artists are out here in Georgia, in Texas, in New York, in Virginia, just literally I, just all week long, I've been reaching out to so many different organizations saying, I would love to just set up a table, please. Can I just set up a table and just show you what I've got? And then I'm saying, then one of my soul sisters, she was like, girl, let's just show up. I'm like, are you allowed to? I don't know what the rules are. I'm like, I don't know what the rules are. I don't want to get in trouble, you know? Because again, this is very sensitive. It is on many different levels. And the last thing anybody wants to do is show up disrespectfully.
And that's why I have made it a part of my pop-up breast seed beauty bar as well, because it's still a form of beauty for survivors.
Hmm.
So even
Yes.
in Georgia, um, I think it's a pigmentation. She's been there twice in Georgia, and then Ramisha has been twice at my pop up here. So that's now being a recurrent thing now that I'm
I
having
love it.
paramedical people to come in. I even met at the one that was here, a guy who actually tattoos your head.
Yes, scalp SMP. I do
Yes,
SMP. No one talks about this.
he does this for a
Oh, is
lot
that
of,
how they getting it? There, somebody is really tattooing their
yes,
head.
for
Yes.
alopecia,
So,
for
so it looks like hair follicle. It looks like a shadow.
yes.
That's basically what it does. It gives the illusion of a shadow. So
I'll
like
keep
if
my
someone
hair
had,
over.
yep, like if someone has this shadow, that's the illusion that it gives you.
Yes,
But that's what I mean. Even the fact that we can give you brows.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, this is something
Well,
that
I
can be
know
done.
about
We
the
can.
tattoo brows because I've
Hmm.
had them, but the girl, she's in Atlanta, so she didn't come
Hmm.
back up to finish. So I
She
got to
didn't
draw
finish
mine
it.
on.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what me and Miss Maria are gonna partner up probably with a pigmentation in Atlanta, and I
Well,
wanted to
Miss
like,
Maria is going to have to be part of this now, so
yes,
that the next
I
time when we're
love
on,
this.
yes,
you can explain all of this because we do have a lot of women who have had mastectomies.
mm-hmm,
Mm-hmm.
Keisha had one.
mm-hmm,
I did.
She had a mastectomy, and then we have a few more.
mm-hmm.
And I think this would be very, very informational,
Yes,
and you know, they'll want to. It'll make them feel like they used to look.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
can, I didn't have one, so I'm just lopsided. That's all from a lumpectomy. That's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I get it, because it's a big part. Your body is deformed now,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
so this is what you're dealing with, deformities.
Mm-hmm.
And you still got to look in the mirror, like you said, and it's still you.
yeah,
Yeah.
You got to love that body. No matter what, it's still you.
mm-hmm,
Exactly. I had this one client, ladies, and this will always touch at my heart. She for 15 years did not have a mirror in her home.
mm-hmm,
I think I told Miss Tamika this. For 15 years, she didn't look in the mirror. She didn't have a mirror in her home.
Oh
And
wow.
she had breast
And
cancer.
breast cancer, and she had both her breasts removed. She was a young woman in her, she got diagnosed in her early 20s. And then she was already 30, she was 30 something years old when she heard of me. And I was doing a giveaway, a free giveaway, in memory of my mom and the survivors that have come across my heart so much and left those imprints. Like I say, I did a raffle, and she actually, I did the giveaway, she won the giveaway. And for 15 years she didn't have a mirror, and she was just like, I didn't even know that this even
So the
existed. It was
ones that have the mastectomy where they don't have any breast,
anything, nothing.
you put those on them too?
So yes, yes, they're perfect. These are this is that's what's so beautiful about this. It, as long as you're not allergic to latex. And then while I do my consultations, I keep small pieces. So like when I cut this mold out, because this literally just came off the mold, literally off the press as we were prepping earlier. Um, I cut these pieces out, and then what I do is that I test these extra pieces, I save them, and I send them home. They put it in between their arms while we're doing the whole
Oh, to
discussion
make
and
sure they're
everything.
not allergic.
mm-hmm.
Yep.
And what
And
if
as
they're
long
allergic? What do you use?
So if they're allergic, then the other option would honestly be there. And there are um they're like pasties, but like the children's tattoos that the kids
Yeah.
used to put on. They have those.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another option. I don't know. I guess that has like a glue attached to it. And then the other option would be something like this. Once again,
That's what I
you just
figured that they could use that.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yep.
would be
So
better.
these are options exactly. And then if this is something that they're going to have their build up done, they can use this throughout their entire build up and then decide, you know what? I love the color, the shape, everything. I've been happy with it. I definitely want to stay this size. So I had one client that asked her plastic surgeon if he can do her build up so that way it can fit an areola of this size. So we were able to go in and tattoo the areola of her choice that she wanted. So
Oh,
these are
okay.
just beautiful options. Again, it's just having another option.
Mhm.
It's just knowing that these options are out here. No one's talking about them enough, you know? And I think that that's where the discommunication is.
Mhm.
You know, we as artists, we want to provide this service, but no one's giving us the platform to do it. So that is where the discommun, you know, that I'm hoping that we can make that link, you
So now,
know.
if they want to contact you, how do they do it?
Oh, last
Exactly.
question before they for the contact information that was also
Huh?
asked. Is it covered by your insurance?
So as of right now, I know that there's insurance out there. So if I, in order for me to have this covered by the insurance, your doctor
Mhm.
has to let me in, basically. Your
Okay.
doctor has to be the one to say yes, because there is an allowance. And that's another thing that's not talked about.
Mhm.
You know, there is an allowance in your treatments
Mhm.
that insurances allow,
Mhm.
and that is for the entire procedure, from beginning to end, right?
Mhm.
So if the doctor allows this to be in that insurance of coverage, it can be,
Okay.
it
Okay.
definitely can be. But I, as an artist, as a tattoo artist, not in New York, not in New Jersey, well, soon to be Virginia, but differently, and not in Atlanta, can I go ahead and charge or bill your insurance company?
Mhm.
I'm not, you know, I'm not equipped that way. I know that there are, um I believe Miss Shira just came out with an insurance company that she's able to get this covered under, but I'm really not sure on how that works. But I
So
know for a fact of the doctors you can.
So I know with the areola tattoos, you can go under a doctor. Not for sure about the prosthesis. That's something I am gonna get some information about. But I do know with the areola tattoos, it can be covered by your insurance, like you said, at the doctor's office.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
So
it
that's what I'm
can
saying.
be a prescription, just like if you wanted to get mastectomy bras, you can they can give you prescription for that. If you want
Exactly.
to get wigs, they can give you a prescription for that, and it has to be based off your breast cancer diagnosis.
Exactly. And that's what I mean when I say allowance.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's allowance is
Mm-hmm.
different depending on
Your
your
insurance.
carrier and
Mm-hmm.
your insurance and what your insurance is allowing in the budget.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, again, I can't bill you. It would have to come from the doctor. The doctor is the one that would have to basically reach out to, let's say, myself or another artist
Mm-hmm.
and say, hey, would you come in my office and we can work out a contract? So I would work out the contract not only with the client, let's say, it would be with the patient.
Mm-hmm.
So far, my clients have paid out of pocket.
Yes.
You know, that's how they've paid, and then they present it to their insurance carrier, and then sometimes they, I mean, they've been reimbursed,
Reimbursing.
but some ladies, you know, unfortunately they didn't have it within the budget. And what am I going to say? Oh, you can't have it. It's like, oh, it's okay, you know,
Mm-hmm.
don't worry about it, you
All
know.
right,
I mean, be my
Tisha.
model, or you can pay it back by sharing the word, or
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, you
Tisha,
know.
before we go, you have anything you want to say?
Me?
Yeah,
No,
because I know
I
you
just think
always
that
quiet. So.
I just think that what you're doing is awesome. I know, since I've had my bilateral mastectomy, I have looked into, like areola prosthesis and like the nipple tattooing and stuff like that. I haven't personally seen anybody in my area, like Savannah or anything like that. Maybe I need to do like a deep dive. But like if there are any artists out here, like they're probably not being talked about, like you said. I can't say they don't exist. I just don't know where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've been following like different people on Facebook that are like in Florida that do um like the nipple tattooing and like the prosthesis that you made. I've seen a couple of those, but I think the one I saw, it was like I saw it and then I never saw it again. But the lady, it was like a lady selling it and it had like glue and little stickies, and but I think it's great. Like just giving us that option. I think it's wonderful.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's my pleasure. It's mine. I mean, this is like I said, this it just means the world to me that you ladies are trusting me and letting me in because I know, like I said, if we can just get the word out and get the names of all these amazing artists that are out there, you know, then you don't have to go searching so far because I can promise you that you're going to have a couple in Georgia for absolutely sure. I know for a fact you have a few amazing artists in Georgia and that option there's beautiful options that are out there because this is not for everyone also.
Right.
You know, let's respect those that choose to do nothing and embrace what they have, right?
Mhm.
You have to respect that as well. So there's just again I'm just so grateful for this opportunity.
Okay, well, I am going to have to end this. So let me just say thank you for joining us for another episode of The Resilience of Black Women Confronting Breast Cancer. If this episode stirs something in you, let it move you to action, share it, speak it, and reach out. Because healing doesn't happen in silence. It happens when you tell the truth, when we honor each other, and we will make space for the stories that still need to be told. And we'll be back next Thursday in our new environment. And we'll continue with more conversations. And Maria, it was awesome having you, and you're welcome to come back next week because there's going to be more women there so that you can share this again.
I really appreciate it. Oh no, I lost you. Where did you guys go? Hold on. I'm
Oh, we
so
didn't go
sorry.
anywhere
I
yet.
did
You got
something.
3 minutes. Where you at?
Hold on. I don't know what I did. Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Sorry about that.
okay.
Thank
So,
you so much. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for this amazing opportunity. So I know that I just want to do this quick little plug with Miss Tamika. We're going to be doing November the 2nd.
The November the
No,
first.
the first, November the 1st in Texas in Houston,
Yep.
Texas.
Mhm.
I'm so super excited about that pop up. And then I'm doing two giveaways for Radiant and Resilience. That's gonna be October the 11th. So I'll be giving away a raffle to two survivors.
Mhm.
Let's
what's it
see,
called?
I'm
Radiant,
hoping that we can get
Radiant.
the words out.
Mhm.
Is it with you? She's giving out raffles.
She's giving out one at Pretty Girls with Cancer with Candace, and then I think the
Mm-hmm.
one that you're talking about on the 11th is with Manuela.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So that one I'll
Oh,
be I'll
okay.
be giving away some prostheses. And I hope that maybe those women will be able to come to Miss Tamika's event where I can give them the actual prostheses that day. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that's the beautiful thing about this really quick. I can do this long distance.
Oh, okay.
You don't have to be here with me. We can the same way we're having these conversations is the same
So,
way
Tisha,
my
you can
clients
do it long
select.
distance with her.
Yeah. Miss Tisha, we'll be talking, Miss Tisha.
Okay.
Definitely. I
What's
got
your
you.
what's your Instagram? Do you have
So
an
my Instagram is inked by flawless.ego. That is
Okay.
my Instagram. And I was telling the ladies earlier that I'm going to be doing something a little separate because I want to separate my paramedical from my permanent makeup. But for right now, this is where I can be found is at inked by flawless.ego
Because
on
it
Okay.
says
Instagram.
ink by my flawless. Is that it?
So it's inked by
Okay.
flawless.ego.
So there is no my.
No, that's my webpage.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So
Yes,
that's
that's my
your
webpage.
website. Is .com the website?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I thank you, ladies,
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
and we
much.
shall be catching up next Thursday.
Okay.
Tisha, real
Yes.
quick, how's mom? Good.
she fine driving me crazy?
Okay. All right.
Being mom, she fine. I might look a little tired. She had me up at 4 a.m. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, we getting
Okay.
through it.
All right. That's what I wanted to ask you before we get off. Okay. Let me stop it.